All right. Hey, Sarah.
Hi, Asia.
Thanks for jumping in today. So I want to talk through IPP this morning really quickly. What's the one thing I prompted you for?
You prompted me to name the success in advance, specifically connected with the academic outcomes from the day before, because yesterday's lesson 4 to lesson 5, inherently builds on itself, and it's the actual thing that can be lost in the mix of this lesson. And so not only naming it so people felt successful, but also naming it so they don't forget to do it was crucial.
Yeah. So I don't think that there's this giant IPP protocol checklist that we have to keep following at all times.
Yeah.
But I think if something needs to happen, it should happen. And so you stamped this, but I'll just reiterate. A, people feel good when they hear about their successes. 100% exit ticket mastery is like, that's something that we should celebrate. And B, the gap that we have right now in our leadership of IPP is being able to see the big picture. And so lesson 4 to 5 does connect directly.
Yeah.
And that would have been a moment to see the big picture.
Yeah.
All right, so let's actually take yesterday's work, yesterday's lesson. What is the new thing kids learned yesterday?
Yesterday, kids learned how to multiply by multiples of 10.
Well, is that new?
No, that's a third grade concept that they've already actually established.
Yeah, so they're gonna call that math schema.
Okay.
So if we were to like jot down what is math schema versus what is the new math, so multiples of 10 or power of 10 is math schema.
Yeah.
What else is maybe math schema, things they already know?
The multiplication itself. That's
Yeah.
a 2, 3, and 4 skill.
So multiplication, and then you prompted a little bit for this today, but what are the sort of
Place
labels we
box.
use
Oh.
in multiplication?
Groups amount each group in total.
Yeah, group times amount in each group equals total or
And
product. What else?
Like basic place value understanding,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the basis for today.
Great. So now that we've identified these 3 key skills, multiples / power of 10, multiplication in groups, amount in each group, and total, and place value, what was the new math kids were supposed to learn yesterday?
There actually isn't any new math from yesterday, apart from potentially, actually all of this. This lesson is almost identical to the third grade one they learned last year.
Yeah.
This is the only thing that they potentially have not seen, which is multiples of 10 against multiples of 10. But it can still be distilled to 30 groups of 4 tens, which is the same thing as the year before, just a magnitude greater.
Yes. So we would say the new math is increased magnitude and multiplying by more than one place value by more than one place value, right? So 2 by 2 or greater multiplication. So that's the new math kids were supposed to learn yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So when we think about today's lesson, what is the math schema kids are supposed to have?
Math schema.
It would be everything.
All of this.
Mm-hmm.
And this. And no, it's all of this.
Yeah. So if these 2 things were replicated, the new skill they learned was at least 2 by 2, if not greater, then so we could basically like replicate that.
Mm-hmm.
What's the new math that kids were supposed to take away from the lesson today?
That they can find the product of a problem by thinking about the amount in each group as place value blocks, and to find the product, they can either count all or find the partial products from each place value.
So those are types of strategies. Were they
Okay.
learning a new strategy today or a new mathematical concept or skill? You could say that they're not learning anything new if that's actually the case.
It's the base. The only new learning is the partial products, but it's not. It's new in the context of the place value blocks, but this is the actual partial products that they learned about yesterday. It shifts into the area model more today than it should have, because they reduced the sequence by a lesson this year.
So what's the new? Yeah.
There isn't a new.
So what's different or unique that kids will do today that they didn't do yesterday?
Represent a 1 by multi-digit multiplication equation using place value blocks to find a total.
So the new math today is, and you go ahead and drop that down. Great. If I think about yesterday's lesson, much of the math included, let's look at the place value here. What do we see consistently here?
Groups of 10 revenue.
Groups of tens,
Multiples of 10,
of tens, right? So what actually is, in addition to that, what's additional new math that they're doing, right? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. What's different about today's lesson?
There's less zeros. I mean, there are the same amount of zeros that there's.
What's actually different here? So we got 1 by 3 in this particular
It's not a
example.
multiple of 10 at all.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. So they're
It's
actually.
a prime number.
So what's the new math today?
That they're multiplying numbers,
So multiplying multi-digits,
multi-digit, non-multiples of 10.
non-multiples of 10.
Yeah.
Go ahead and jot that down. So when I saw you with the 4th grade math team, you put up the problem on the board and kind of were like, show me how you solve.
Mm-hmm.
That means you were what were you checking their understanding of?
I was worried for both 3rd and 4th grade today that they would struggle with the math because it is not how we learned to solve math growing up.
Tell me more about struggling with the math. What did you actually check that they knew how to do?
Represent to solve with the strategy for today.
Yeah. So you spent your sort of like FaceTime with them on can you accurately apply the strategy?
Yeah.
What did I spend my FaceTime with you on just now?
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Asking you what the math schema in new math was. And that's what I need to do with them.
Tell me more.
I mean, if they were able to name that in a consecutive way, they would see the big picture and then they'd be able to connect the previous math schema. That would mean that they'd actually need to know what the math schema is.
Yeah. And so you and I actually took some time
Yeah.
now to go through what's the schema, what's the things kids should already
Yeah.
know. And they just sort of roll off your tongue. They should know how to multiply, they should know this, they should know this. Yeah. And then that helps us get concrete on what they should do today. So when I think about yesterday, we'll say it is, we'll do 7 times 400. Underline that base fact. 7 times 4 is 28. 1 power of 10, 2 powers of 10. 1 power of 10, 2 powers of 10. And so that gets me to 2,800, right? Yesterday, students were able to
identify basic facts, identify the answer to a basic factor product, and then identify the multiples of 10,
or
the
use
powers
the
of 10,
strategy.
to then identify the correct amount of zeros to put behind that number.
Yeah, to help maintain place value. All right, so let's look at today. 3 times 183. What was the skill that they used yesterday?
Identify the basic facts, which
And
they
they-
can still do again.
Yeah, which was 3 times 1 equals 100
Yeah.
equals, sorry, 3 times 1
3
equals
times
3, right?
Yeah.
That's what we did here. 7 times 4 equals 28.
Oh, okay.
And then we pulled down the powers
Got it.
of 10. So 3 times 1 equals
3.
but now what's happening? Can't we just pull down the powers of 10?
Yeah. You could.
Well,
you
a
could.
kid might go 8, 3.
Oh, yeah. So no, you can't.
You can't.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I could see if. Yes, they can't do that.
Can a kid just make 2 dots and pull it down?
No.
No. Actually, the thing we're learning today is that power of 10 gets us into partial products. So now what am I doing? I've already done 3 times 1 to get 300. 1 power of 10, 2 power of 10. Because this is a hundreds place.
Yep.
Now I need to do 3 times what?
3 times 8.
What place value is that?
Tens place.
Tens place. So I'm going to have how many powers of 10?
1 power. of 10.
1 power of 10. So 3 times 8 equals
24. 24, yeah.
24. Does that get me there?
No, but that's the misconception that could potentially come up where it's like it's already moved over. It's not though, because the power of 10, it's actually 3 groups of 8 tens, so that's 24
yes, I
tens.
still need the power of 10. And 3 times 3?
3 times 3 is 9.
So that's my ones place. How many powers of 10?
None.
None, because I'm in my ones place.
Yes, it's
before I-
three groups of 3 ones, so I could even skip count by 3 ones to get there.
Exactly. And so the gap between where you launched IPP today and where I am pushing us now, stamp that for me.
today when I started IPP, I, apart from quickly asking them to just state their TTED out loud, which was inaccurate. It was.
Tell me about what you did.
I then had them solve math problems out of fear that they would do them wrong. And then they did do them wrong. And I was like, well, great.
The biggest skill that I want to transfer to you to be able to do with your teachers is, can they identify what the math schema is, the things that kids should already know, and can they identify the new thing kids are learning today? And so whether that...
And demonstrate mastery of that mathematically.
But before we even get into them, like, how do you do that? I want to make sure both you and your teachers are clear on, here's the new math skill, the new thing kids are learning. Not just a strategy, but what's new. And so they're not learning place value block arrays today, right? They're actually learning how to apply one by multi-digit numbers across a higher magnitude place value. One way we can do that is place value array. You actually modeled two other ways. Another way you modeled was by like understanding groups amount in each group. A third way you modeled was by repeated addition, right? So we know that we're not pushing kids towards any one strategy. We want to share that strategy with them. But the difference is today's new math is kids are learning to multiply multi-digit numbers with a larger magnitude, not just multiples of 10. Yeah, can you jot what the new learning is one more time for today?
Oh, I have it right here. Multiply one by multi-digit numbers with place value blocks, multiply multi-digit numbers that are non-multiples of 10.
Yeah. Great. And then go ahead and what are the 2 to 3 strategies that you would expect kids to use?
Place value blocks, adding, repeated addition.
I mean, there are some kids who their parents at home are going to teach them this guy, right? That arrow guy,
and then,
which we don't do anymore.
We sent a quick note home. Nicole and Priska actually took a picture.
I saw. They did a good job and put it on Dojo too.
They're like, please don't teach.
Please don't teach this arrow thing. Yeah.
Please, because it'll undermine this.
So you're going to go into a classroom right now, and your teachers spent IPP looking at how they were going to do this strategy, and maybe this schema that should have already been there around groups and amount in each group. Where do you need to push them when you go into the classroom?
Making sure that the kids are actually getting the new math skill,
which is
multiplying multi-digit non-multiples of 10 by thinking through the math schema they already have, which is I can multiply by powers of 10, thinking through like 3 groups of 246 is actually 3 times 200, 3 times 4 tens, and 3 times 6 ones.
Yeah, so they're doing all that maintaining place value.
Yeah.
Go ahead and add that maintaining place value. All right, you're going to go into a classroom. A teacher might not be able to stamp that for kids. So I want you to, when we go into the classroom, the very first thing I want you to do is go up to the teacher, name for them like, hey, I jotted this down. In fact, grab a Post-it. Here's actually what kids are getting better at today. I'm going to real-time coach you through this. And I want you to name repeatedly for kids that they're getting better at blank, or today they're learning how to blank. What's the impact of, you've done this work after IPP, right? What's the impact of handing them that Post-it note before you go in there and real-time coach?
Hearing a change in the actual content you're teaching in the moment when you're teaching it can be stressful.
Yeah, and in addition to that, this aligns with your growth and development around concision.
Yeah.
So you've stamped it multiple times for yourself today. The teacher won't have that same at that.
Yeah.
Great. What's the kid getting better at today?
Multiplying multi-digit numbers that are not multiples of 10 while, so it's like whole, while maintaining place value.
Okay. Should we do it?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Great.